Hey there, YouTubers. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. I got off the bandwagon a little bit on this daily upload vlog thing, so we're going to kick off episode number 3. So let's go ahead and roll the intro and get this party started. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thanks for tuning back into another episode. There's going to be kind of like a little switch of gears. We've got some parts in the mail that we've been waiting on. So this car behind me here, this orange car, is going to get wrapped up today. We're going to build a cylinder head. We'll assemble it and get it ready to go in the car. Who knows? We might even get it running today. I wouldn't hold your breath. But in the meantime, while I've been waiting on some of those parts, I went ahead and I worked on our intake manifold that we saw in the last episode for our F22. So this is an H23 non-VTEC manifold. The way it's set up, it's actually got the factory butterflies and the IAB. So we went ahead and kind of auged that out in the previous episode. So if you haven't already, go ahead and watch it so you're caught up to speed, and then it'll still make a little bit more sense. So what we ended up doing was getting back to like a normal outside appearance, and then going and deleting or omitting some of the ports that we needed. So I'm going to flip the camera around and I'll show you what I've done and kind of explain it. So if you run into something similar to this, then you'll have an option or an outlet. So guys, what I did was I kind of put all my notes out here on paper. We've got an EGR port. We have one butterfly. It's like a throttle linkage that would have normally passed through going horizontal here. So there's an opening here where you see number 2, and then there's an opening over here where you see number 7. So the way that it is actually set up, I needed to plug both of those holes, and I needed to plug an idle air control valve and then some other kind of like fast idle valve that was plugged into the intake manifold from factory. So we've got a total of 7 different holes that we want to plug, plus some others. So I'll show you what we're going to do, or what I already did, and then this way you can replicate it. So guys, over here we've got our intake manifold. To kind of give you an idea, the plugs that I was talking about, so this is your idle air control valve like linkage port. It actually runs all the way over here to where you can see it. I don't know if you can see it from that angle, but there we are. You see the other little blue fitting? So this would have normally had like a linkage that went through it and like a throttle cable over here. This is actually the throttle stop screw. But the way it's set up, we omitted all that. We actually cut the crap out of it. So we no longer have that piece, and we have open, vacuum leaks on the sides. So I went ahead and I drilled these, and we tapped them with an 1/8 inch national pipe thread. On the front, these ports are a little bit bigger. So this is the fast idle valve that I mentioned, or whatever it was, who knows. This is the idle air control valve. So we're going to delete the idle air control valve for our setup. And by doing that, these measured a little bit larger. So these were actually 1/2 inch. Over here, they were a little bit smaller. So as you saw in that little cheat sheet earlier, the way that it was set up, I wasn't really sure where they would fall into play. I had to use like a chart and figure out what was the closest drill bit to be able to tap it. And what I did was I used a 7/16 drill bit to tap, or actually drill out these. And then I oversized them with a 1/4 NPT, so like 1/4 NPT. So now these will accept plugs. And we're going to go ahead and pull this one out, this one out, this one out, and this one's going to stay because we're running a factory booster on the car, so we'll leave that one. But for the time being, I've got some of these that are kind of loose, so we'll grab a hold of those with a pair of pliers, yank them out, and then we'll worry about threading it. This is going to be smaller, so we'll have to drill it out again, but we can do 1/8 there. My thought was, guys, these will have plugs in them, but these over here we'll actually use. So our fuel pressure regulator normally sits on the right-hand side of a Honda. we'll run our fuel pressure regulator off of this one. And then over here, the one that you can't see from the front, that little guy, we'll run that to our blow-off valve. And then probably what we'll do, just to be able to kind of have everything tie in, we'll make something like one of these our boost gauge. So that way we've got that inside the car. I might not even run one, who knows. We'll have a digital dash in this car, so probably just go ahead and make them for plugs, keep our necessities, and then rock and roll. But guys, it's kind of taking shape here, and there might be a little bit of a surprise, and we may not actually use this, but I'm waiting on some feedback to be able to kind of decide if that's going to be cost effective or not. But at the meantime, this is what we're left with so far. So this is an H23A non-VTEC manifold, and we're looking pretty snazzy. So guys, some of the parts we're waiting on was a turbo, valve seals, and some shrink tubing so I could finish the harness. The harness is ready to go. I've got everything pulled where it needs to go in the engine compartment for like length of the harness. I went ahead and I got all of the end pieces loomed up so it's less straggly wires, and hopefully it'll slide through a new sheath a lot better. So we'll knock that out today. Might be off camera because it's really frustrating, but we'll do the head here in just a minute, and I'll kind of catch you up with what I've got now that we've got valve seals, and we'll just time lapse some of it, throw it together, and we'll wrap it up. So guys, as you saw in like the first episode, this is a D16y8 cylinder head. This was actually the donor head because our previous head was warped real bad. So we took our springs, our retainers, our clips, all of our goodies that we wanted to retain along with the cam here. And by doing that, we had our new donor head sent off to have it cleaned, resurfaced, and boy, does it look good. So with that being the case, we needed some of our new valve seals to put on it, and we've got them in the mail. So what we're going to use is our valve seal tool, and we're just going to go ahead and peckaroo and put them on. But once we get that done, we'll need to re-clean our intake valves. I usually like to just make sure everything's spick and span, and then we'll clean everything, use our valve spring tool, and seat our valve springs, put our keepers back in, and we'll be off to the races. Guys, last but not least, we've got our new turbo. So this is the 6062. It's a journal bearing turbo on our Rev 9 style. This is a Rev 9 turbo. I don't know what brand the manifold is. It looks like some kind of maybe Schedules 10, Schedule 40. But with that being the case, we've got a new gasket. It's all wrapped up, and it'll be ready to go in the car so we can build a downpipe and hit that hole in the hood that we talked about in the previous video. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. Guys, I've got the head together as you saw in the last picture. My neighbor's mowing, so just bear with me. The last port here is the last one we need. I've already done the first two that you saw in the previous clip, but we're going to drill this out and oversize it. Ultimately, we're going to end up with a 5/16, but it's easier to work your way up, so we'll just jump right into it. guys, I found 2 more. See right there at the throttle body? So I've tapped, drilled, they're all ready for plugs. We're about ready to wrap her up. So guys, I appreciate you tuning in for today's episode. We're about ready to wrap it up. I need to go locate some dowels for this cylinder head, this D16. So we're going to end it off here for you guys, and we'll catch you back up tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you know whenever I upload, and leave me a comment if you've got any questions or you just have an opinion. Who knows? Maybe it's just interactive. But guys, we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.